Hello, my name's John Turner. I'm Chief Executive of Link Group. I'm just going to try and give some context to you in terms of retrofitting domestic residential properties from a low carbon perspective. Three things for me that are important. The first is to recognise this is something which will directly impact every single one of us who is a homeowner across Scotland. Only 25% of Scotland's 2.5 million homes are actually owned by registered social landlords, the vast majority by private homeowners, and as a consequence, any decisions, any discussions that take place need to be in the context that it will impact people and their families directly in terms of the affordability of their homes. The second point to make is around complexity in targets and terminology. It's a very complicated area, especially for those of us who are not involved in it on a day-to-day basis. As a registered social landlord in Scotland, we are targeting energy efficiency standards set by the Scottish Government by 2032. We now have the zero carbon discussions that are ongoing as well. The important point I want to make is that these aren't necessarily exactly the same thing. Energy efficiency for us has traditionally been looked at by way of SAP ratings. Those SAP ratings traditionally favour gas over electric heating because it's considered that electric heating used to burn a lot more coal, and so you can end up in a situation where trying to replace an energy system in a house, a SAP rating improvement might take you down a gas boiler route, whereas in actual fact from a zero carbon perspective you might want to take a heat pump route or something like this, and these two need to become aligned in terms of the targets that are set for organisations like ours, because at the moment you could make significant strides to achieve your SAP rating and by implication get closer to your energy efficiency targets, but this wouldn't necessarily take you to a zero carbon base. And now we need to make these two different concepts aligned so that from a long-term asset management perspective, which is what we're involved with in terms of 25-30 years, we are absolutely clear that what we are putting in place will meet the long-term goals and will not have to be taken out and replaced because the targets change or because the terminology becomes aligned later down the line. That's massively important. The third point is that the technology really doesn't exist for this type of transition at a cost which makes it deliverable for people. At the moment, Link have got probably 35% of our homes up to the EASH 2 standards. However, we are also looking at a situation where potentially up to 50% of our stock does not have technology solutions available to us. That means that we'd be able to do the other half of our stock. Now that will come, but what we need now is a very consolidated drive towards research to make significant steps forward in terms of residential housing stock, and it cannot be done one by individual organisations. It must be done at a system-wide perspective because all the problems are the same in terms of the types of houses, but there is simply not an affordable solution for significant amounts of stock types across Scotland at the moment.
There are a number of technical options for properties, but I think it's really important that we work with the tenants as to what will work with them and make sure that they have a good understanding of the technology that's being installed, just so that we maximise the benefits in terms of energy efficiency and cost. Over the last few years, Link have had a number of projects to address fuel poverty and improve the energy efficiency of this stock. We installed biomass boilers. This, along with some insulation measures, significantly improved the energy efficiency rating of the properties and brought them up to the EASH standard. These are not easy from an operational point of view, both for Link in terms of deliveries, monitoring, metering, and for the residents in terms of operation. Air source heat pumps have been much more successful from a tenant's perspective. They've resulted in reduced bills and an increased level of comfort within homes. However, from Link's perspective, we don't see the same benefit in terms of the improvement to the energy efficiency rating. There's also a significant change in mindset required from tenants with these heating systems. Currently, we are trialling some infrared heating systems, and we're waiting for the outcome of the pilots on that one just now.
So what would I do given a choice to take things forward? I think we need a short life working group set up between the Scottish Government and registered social landlords to look at How are we going to set targets? Is it EASH2? Is it low carbon initiatives? To try and take away some of the conflicts we are seeing between technology solutions at the moment. After that, I think once you've agreed that direction of travel, you can look at the really important issue of affordability. We need an open and honest grown-up conversation about what it is actually going to mean in terms of affordability for private homeowners as well as for organisations. And we may as well look at that now, because it isn't going to go away. It is real money, and it will impact people and their families in every home across Scotland. So that must be a priority now. And the third point is we need to look at practical solutions that can be implemented and where the technology gaps are. So what can you do in a tenement block in Edinburgh that's been in existence for 200 years? What can you do in a tower block? What can you do in a rural setting? They all differ. There is no one size fits all. We need to understand the spectrum of technology that is available and where it is not, what we can do about it. So big targets, big challenges, but some big opportunities as well.